Okay guys, welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. Knackeroonied. This will probably be an unplugged video, just an informal one. Let's turn these things off. Charging noise. So what's going on? So I'm in the middle of detailing the 911. You can see. So what have we done? Well, we've already done a video on the interior detailing that I'll be publishing first. That's all done, but I've been in the car and driven it since then, so the footwells have got dirt in them. Never mind. I'll vacuum those out because I just want to get it all done, you know. So one moment in time, it's all done. We've got ceramic coating on all of the scuttle in there and in the engine bay, which is good. The alloy wheels have been off of the car. They've been ceramic coated with Geon Wim. It's doing a Jonathan Wass. And coated with Gyeon Tire, the like ceramic-y tyre dressing, which is good actually. You just wipe off that excess, put quite a lot on, then wiped off the excess, and it will be on there for like a week before the car comes out. So it'll have a good chance to dry off and do its thing. Maybe get a hairdryer on it. So the car's obviously been cleaned and washed. Next up, we've got to tackle the paintwork, and you can see all the clay marring I've put in the car from really giving it a damn good scrubbing with a clay bar all over. So I've got clay marring, but I'm not worried about that. That will just polish out. It's the kind of swirlies that I've got to dig out. So we'll be doing the cutting with this stuff, Geon compound, you know. So this isn't going to deliver us our final finish. So we're really just looking for this to cut out defects, and we do one set ideally with this. Start doing 2 sets of cutting, and everything takes ridiculous amounts of time. So 1 set, and then we'll probably start with the cut pads, and if we're not getting enough cut, we'll move over to the heavy cut pads and crank up and pressure in a little bit. The aim is to get all our cutting done in 1 set, really. Then I probably need to test, but then I'm probably going to go straight to the Geon primer and finish out the paintwork with the Geon primer, which I've used to finish paintwork before, but I've not gone from the Compound Plus to the primer before, and it's really important to get a good finish, and I want to work this nice and slow and do good consistent sets and get every bit. So just take my time when I'm polishing that wing, really let the polish do its thing and work the polish to really get that gloss up. And I've got the Geon polish here, so I could use that if the primer isn't giving me the results I want. But going back to the primer, the advantage of using the primer is when I finish with the primer, I haven't got to degrease the car with like hot water and detergents before I put the coating on. I can just buff that off, wait 24 hours, leave it in the garage and put the coating on, or buff it off and then go over it with Geon. What's this prep, is it called? The pink stuff there, the panel wipe. I'm pretty sure it's prep, isn't it? If I want to coat straight away, but I'll just leave it 24 hours. So the Geon polish probably isn't going to get used, but these headlights, I'm going to try and just polish these, because you can see like these little stains in there. This one, like little, I'm hoping, a lot of time, what that is damage, some sort of chemical damage to the clear coat lacquer on top of the plastic, the polycarb. So I'm hoping when I go over it with a fine polish, it will just scrub all this off. I'm hoping, and it will take a bit of the yellowing out. You can just see a little tinge of yellow. So it'd just be nice to get these crystal clear, and I think we're probably going to put a PPF on them, which might be cool, which I've never really had on any of my cars. And you can see this one's the same here, and it looks like a bit more. So I don't know if that's like TFR staining or something. The headlights were like that when I started, so I haven't done that. But yeah, it happens, doesn't it? If it goes to a car wash or something, and some nasty chemicals are used, it can just degrade it. So you've got to be kind of careful, really. So that's the headlights that we're going to do, and I'll probably do those first before I do the paintwork, because I don't want to do the paintwork and coat it and then be polishing and splattering polish on the ceramic coating and all that. So it makes sense to do the headlights first. These ones are nice and glossy, so I'll probably just go over those with the Geon primer or the Geon polish. Primer probably be fine, just gloss them up. Actually, I've got to think about that because we're going to be putting some vinyl tints over those, so polish and degrease will do. Because I don't know if the primer is, well, you probably shouldn't use the primer because it stays there if you're going to put something on top like a PPF. These are black in here, so I should tackle these before I do the car as well. Yeah, and I'm going to use the Geon polish. Where is it? The Geon metal polish. It's gone on a walkabout. Where the hell's that gone? What have I done with that? Oh, I don't know, I'll find it. I'll have to put it up on the shelf over there somewhere. Yeah, it's over there, look, there it is. The Geon polish. And I'm just gonna put all of that polish in there and go at it with a drill bit that's got the plastic on there that's really for removing rust, but that dirt is tarnished onto that surface. And even a leaf wool and polish, I don't think will strip it off. So I'll just go in there with the plastic brush, very heavy, very aggressive. And it will put fine scratches in the inside of that. But then once it's clean and I've got all that black off, I'll put the polish on the leaf wheel and then just buff it up to a shine. That's just the quickest way of doing it, just to get a clean exhaust tip, if you like. Yeah, so paintwork wise, the car has got really good paint actually. It's got not a lot of stone chips because this has been repainted. Ignore all this. This is all, you'll see little holograms from the claying and stuff. But it's good on the chip front. That's been repainted. And the rest of it I think is original paint. There's one deep scratch here that's nasty. So yeah, I mean, like that's probably through the lacquer there. But if I wet sand over that, my aim is to take that whiteness out. So if I get the whiteness out, I mean, I could put touch up in there. I've got touch up for this colour because I've got to do some touching up actually. I'll show you where I've got to do a touch up. I could put touch up in there, even flatten out the touch up and then buff it up. But I think the touch up will be more noticeable than just taking out the crushed clear coat and just wet sanding and polishing that a little bit. Just take your eye off it a bit. Doesn't really bother me. Yeah, and just take our time. Go around, polish the roof. We'll do the glass at the end. I'm just going to clean this glass and this glass. It probably looks clean on camera. It's not. The outside of the glass needs cleaning. And then this, I'll prep properly and I'll put the Geon view on there. I'm interested to see because I'm going to do proper prep with a polish, I think. Just because it just gets all of the... It needs to be cleaned. But it just gets everything off the glass. A lovely chip there. And it gets it down to a kind of bare hydrophilic layer where there's nothing. And then I think it will take the sealant a bit better. And I'll probably put the sealant on in a up and down motion. Because last time I put it on circles, I could see it. But maybe I put too much on. Who knows? Yeah, so I'm interested to see how I get on with that. And apart from that, it's going to be a case of cutting, hopefully one set of cutting, because I don't want to do two. One set's always better than two. And one set of finishing. And probably, you know, probably about, it's a small car. I reckon I can cut it in about 3 hours. And I reckon I can finish it in about 3 hours. So even less, who knows? We'll see how we get on. And then I think we're near enough kind of done. So we've got the coatings in there. I've dressed out the arches. I'll put like a cover over the tyres so I don't cover those in polish and dust and all that when I do that. Those rubbers, I still need to dig out a little bit. Still a little bit of polish in there or something. So I probably need to just finish up the car. Maybe that's probably one of the last jobs you can see, but just little bits of polish still stuck on there. yeah, apart from that, I think we're pretty good, guys. We're pretty good. Starting, let's get a torch while you're here and really look at the paint, because you can't really see it unless I get the torch. So you can see the clay marring, but it's underneath all that clay marring. Yeah, camera's going to struggle with focus. So it does, you know, you can see it's really is ripe for correction. But once all that swirling is out, you can see that lovely richness and that metallic fleck. So we should have just, our cutting should take care of all of that record player stuff, and then our finishing should just bring up the gloss. So I think it's going to be relatively straightforward. There's a deeper scratch there. You're not going to get perfection with one cutting set. So it's what standard am I working to here? A cut and finish is going to be good enough for me. Yeah, and then can't wait to look at the car when it's all like, you know, really like dripping wet and black, and it really be nice and jet black at the end. And that's what I love doing. And I just take the mindset, you know, I'm doing it once, I've washed it all properly, I've clayed it all properly, it's dry now, it's a good environment to just polish this car in, even though it's a bit tight on space, but it's a decent environment. Get the music on and do it properly. Going to be using the Flex XCE cordless, because I love that. Just like buzzes away, does its thing. And I'll be teaming it up with the Rupes HLR 75 to do the 3-inch mini stuff, and I can dig out the Nano if I ever need to use the 1-inch stuff, the 1-inch pad. There's some areas on the car. Well, this is a bloody nightmare to polish, that is. Jesus. I mean, it looks pretty decent to me. Once I'll get the light on that, have a look. I'm going to have a bit of clay marring in there. So, yeah, do I just... yeah, I mean, even the 1-inch, you need a cone. I've got a cone attachment, but Jesus, polishing this out with a cone attachment is going to be a right pain. Part of me then was just thinking, do you just leave that and just coat it? And no, I think at best I might just use the Geon primer on this, on all these fins, just to give it a polish and a gloss up, and then coat over it. Very difficult to sort of cut all that. You'll end up making a hell of a mess. You'll just throw polish absolutely everywhere. So that might be a candidate for the primer. Yeah, apart from that, guys, we're in good stead. Car's lovely on the inside now. And it drives straight, it drives true, and I really like it. So this is obviously a sponsored video with Geon. So we're just using Geon products virtually. I think maybe, no, I don't think I think it is all Geon. I used the Bathe shampoo for the first time. I've used Essence before, but not the normal Bathe. It's fine. The APC is good. The foam, I'm empty with that. It's decent foam. If you need, I use the APC just to soak out the road film. If you need more cut, it's like a maintenance shampoo for the ceramic coating. So it's not quite as potent as touchless at burning, you know, cutting through road film. But it's good if you've got a coating on there and you're maintaining it. They did up the cleaning power of this. It does affect my degreaser. It does affect my dirt sim, sorry. So it's got a bit of cut to it. Wheel cleaner's good. You know, it's one of those purple reacting ones. Clay bar's good. The mild clay still strips off the contamination. Haven't used the coarse one yet. These are all nice. This is lovely, this primer. Really nice. What I like about these compounds is you can clear them out the pad, flush out with water, like, so you get a really nice clean pad. You know, it's not an oily compound. It's a watery kind of compound. Polishes. Their microfiber is absolutely superb. And if you just want to have a look at this, this is they've just released all this. This is like the Evo range. Look at these. Look at that. Just look at it. Just look at it. It's not too thick. It's not. They've not gone for a mega fluffy one, which is good. That might be like a 350. Who knows? Does it say? Does it say? No, that feels less than a. You know, you get the big dense ones. In fact, I've got their old one over here. I've got their old soft wipe. The pre-Evo one. Don't ask me what that is. Don't ask. Do not ask. Yeah, look at the difference. So this is I think a deeper pile. So they've gone for a slightly thinner pile, which is good. It's like a bit closer to Imran's sort of 350s. But that is a lovely microfiber cloth, that is. Yeah. So I'm going to do the polish, the final wipe down with the soft wipes. And then I'll use the polish wipes on the heavier compound, so not quite soft. And I'll keep these towels nice. I'm going to use the bald wipes on the ceramic coating. And I've just kept one soft wipe back for a sort of final wipe down to make sure I don't get any high spots. So I've got 5 bald wipes there. If you fold them, you get 8 sides per cloth. So 5 times 8 is 40 sides, isn't it? Roughly. So I'm not going to be doing 40 wipe downs. So I can change sides after every buff. So it'll probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, 20 or 30 wipes roughly. So I'll be fine on microfiber, enough to keep cycling the cloth so I don't keep using one that's I've wiped. And then I was chatting to Steve, you know, he said the more cloths you use, the less chance you've got of putting in the high spots. So if every time I wipe with a fresh side, it's going to have that absorbency rather than have this coating in it where you're going to kind of put more product down. The actual cloth becomes an applicator rather than a removal tool once you've kind of used it. So I'm trying to do it all carefully and properly. There's some marks here that look like finger marks, don't they? But they're sort of, it might be like kids finger marks, or that you have like grease or petrol or something on your fingers that stains the clear coat. So they should polish out. Yeah, you can see the clay marring, but it's a means to an end. You've got to get everything off. You know, you've got to have it clear before you can polish. So, or else there's all like bits in there, you know, bits in the on the paint that you just scoop it up with the polisher. You get like, you see the dirty rim around the edge of your pad, and you know, I want to avoid that. Just having a look on the bonnet. That's all fine. Yeah, it's just standard stuff really, guys. Once we've finished, it's going to look really good. So that was just a little update on what I'm up to at the moment. This is the video I'm working on, and I will get done. I've been using main cam. I've broken this phone. I dropped it and I've cracked the screen, but it was a day before I was due an upgrade of ringdings. So I've upgraded. I've gone for this is a Google Pixel 5 and I've been really happy with it, but I've upgraded to the Google Pixel 7 Pro, which I think is going to be, you know, even better. I'll be doing most of my stuff on the channel on it if the camera is as good as I think it's going to be. So yeah, there we go. What else is going on? I need to crack on with the citrus comparison. That's kind of been on hold. That's been on hold. I've had some other things sent through to me. Yeah, I've got this all-purpose cleaner from Autolim that I'm going to be trying out. It's a ready-to-use sort of thing that you go and buy in Halfords, you know, and it's ready to go. But you don't get the value because it's ready to go. So that kind of, you know, what I'm like, I'm all about concentrates and stuff like that. So you have to factor that in. So, you know, when I'm reviewing it, I've got to give you a comparison of other ready-to-use ones versus concentrates. And then you can make the decision on whether you want the convenience of it being ready to use and you just grab it versus mixing it up, you know. And they've got this polar mitt, which does seem like a nice high quality thing. But again, we're going to give you comparisons of all the other microfiber mitts on the market. Gyeon have got one, G-Technic have got one, Microfiber Madness have got one, and all the main rivals to this, and the prices and all that sort of stuff, and the cheaper, because you can go cheap as well and get like cheap ones. So I'll look up the price of the Paragon microfiber one, because that'll probably be the cheap as you can get them, basically. And then you're armed with, you know, a comparison of all of the rival products. But, you know, these are decent. These are decent. I need to talk about all the wash mitt testing we did as well, because I kind of use Chanel's now as a result of that testing. So we need to talk about formats and whether this format is the best to use, which is something that's subject to opinion. But we'll cover all that. We'll do all the due diligence. What else is going on? Loads of stuff is going on. So, you know, I think I've got a track day this month at Fruxton, which I'm really looking forward to. I've got some stuff. I'm going down to Silverstone, I think. I'm going to Silverstone. I'm going to Silverstone to see that GT Cup car that you might not have seen. Which will be really, really cool. I'm going to see the Pro Valitors guys, I think in a week or so's time, to start work on, you're going to like this, you're going to love this. Hold on a second. On the glass sealant mega test. So I've gone and bought all of these guys. We're trying to buy everything, I think. Although the Pro Detailer guys have got, we've got about 13 products or something like that, and I've got about 10 of me, and they happen to have the other ones. So I think we've bought them all. Duck's back is going to be in there. This is something that's been around for donkey's years, and you know, is used in the trade, and it's going to be good, you know. But I've never used it. They've got a hand sanitizer there. I just kept that with the product just in case, because that seems like just like alcohol solvent, so I don't know if it's required for the product. I don't think it is. Now, I'm not sure if that's actually going in the mega test. I just said I bought them all. That was sent to me by Carbon Collective a while back, and it's platinum glass, and I didn't even know I had it. And we didn't originally put it in the lineup, but I think it's pretty iconic, isn't it? Or, you know, it's established as one of the ceramics. So I'll speak to Bert and Ian, see if we can get that one in as well, because we've got this one from CarPro, which is the Flyby Forte, which I haven't used, but it's been around. Now, Imran chucked this one in the box. Imran, we're not going to be able to get that in, but I'll do a video on that later on. Is it a ceramic? I don't know. Well, yeah. Oh, it might be a ceramic. It's a ceramic. That's interesting. Okay. We've got G-Technic Smart Glass. I bought the little kit, so we've got the polish there. We've got Rain-X, the old faithful one. We've got Dodo Juice Max Pain. I haven't used this. You know, you get a ton of it, so it's not like a one-shot thing. So is this able to compete with the durability of the ones where you get a lot less, like this one? H2Go, Angel Wax H2Go, which I've used, and it works. I've had mixed results with it. I think I used it on the Blue Laguna old BMW, and it was brilliant. Beady, brilliant, no problems. And I used it on the Golf and got ghosting. So, but that was back in the day when I don't think I was prepping them with glass polish. and that can really make a hell of a difference. We've got the Geon Quick View, so that's a non-ceramic coating. That's kind of similar to the packaging, that it's got the felt kind of thing on it, to the Glaco Ultra, which is, I know that is really, really good. Like if you prep the glass properly, it's really, really good. And invisible glass, rain repellent. And they've got a couple of other ones up there that they're putting in. I think Nanolex, I think Lab Cosmetica, and I think they might have a couple of others as well, I can't remember. But that's our lineup. The main problem we have, and why we have to be very careful about just adding more, is, so we might not be able to add that, but I'd like to get that in there, is we have limited time to test, and we have one test panel, test glass piece that we've engineered. You're going to love. I won't spoil the video, but it's to simulate it's like a wiper blade on it, so we can do the same benchmark on every single product, which is going to be really handy. So we can actually do a proper engineered test on automotive glass with a wiper blade, and test how long these last, and also test which ones like the easiest to apply, which ones do they give us wiper judder issues, do they create like a film over the screen, you know, like a cloudy film or anything like that. So we've got to figure out ways of recording all of that and testing all of that. I'll put that, so I'll leave that in the box just in case. Yeah, so we've got to have a think about that. We've got a hell of a lot of work to do. And our aim is to provide a recommendation on which one we think will serve you best. You know, if you're looking for a glass sealant, which one's going to last the longest, which one's going to offer you good value for money, because there's a massive difference in price. And we've got to try and, you know, is the ceramic route going to be the way to go, or are ceramics not great for glass? Do they cause juddery issues with the blades? You know, so I don't know the answer to this. I know that the main problem for all glass sealants is that where you put them on the glass, and you can see like the line of where the wiper blade goes, it gets abraded off of that bit, and then outside of that, where there's no wiper blade, it stays on there for years, literally years. So it's the resistance to abrasion, removal by abrasion from the rubber wiper blade. So having something which is hard but also offers low friction, so we don't get horrible judder, because you get less lubrication on the surface when it's hydrophobic as well, I've noticed. You know, well, you do, don't you? Because there's less water there. The water wants to get off the surface, so the blade is probably digging into the surface more. Anyway, that's enough bullshit. You know me. So I'm really looking forward to doing this glass test. I'll have to delay putting this video out, or else it will just get done somewhere else with the same lineup. So I'll delay putting this out. Ooh, don't show that bit. You get my stalkers coming round. So that's it, guys. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the process. I know it sounds a bit cheesy, but having all this like fresh kind of tooling and microfiber and pads and products to use makes it good fun. Like, I can't wait to get this on, like get this coating on this MOHS, you know, and it's nice and bead in, it lasts for years. And then I'm not going to be polishing this car, I'm just going to be using little top-ups. Oh, one thing actually, while you're here, another thing. Well, let's grab this. Steve from Geon told me, you know, I don't use this stuff too often. You must use it, you know, if you're putting a coating down, it's there as a sacrificial layer to stop that kind of water spotting for the first week where the coating's still curing. So you should use it when you put the coating down, although I could leave this car in the garage, you know, for the full week till the coating fully hardens off or whatever. But why not use it? Yeah, just put some of this down. That's what it's there for. You know, Geon have got the ceramic detailer and the wet coat and all that you can use sort of top up protection, but this is like the coating sacrificial layer. But Steve said it's got really good filling effect as well. So if we look at this clay marring, let's just give it a little spray on there. That's a ton for this product. So, but anyway, I've got a nice clean cloth. So we just pick all that up. Just give it a flip. That's where these cloths are quite good. Well, it hasn't got all the clay marring out, but my God, yeah, it has improved it. Yes, it's got a bit of filling there. I'm cutting over that anyway. You shouldn't really put that down. You know, I'm not going to put it over the whole car just before I'm polishing. So yeah, the Geon Q is probably a product that I need to maybe just use a bit. You know, use it a bit more. I like the fact that it tells you it only lasts 6 weeks, so it's not like some 6-month spray sealant. It really is like a, you know, like the sacrificial layer for the coatings. But it's rich in SiO2. And I like the sound of that, rich in SiO2. And if it glosses up my paint and protects it, then I'll use it as part of the maintenance of the coating underneath. Because the coating underneath, no matter what coating it is, you know, if it's MOHS or anything, those coatings stay on the car. Like, they go hard and they stay on the car, and they'll probably last the shelf life if you've put it on properly in the surface. You've got a good clean surface for it to bond to. But that doesn't mean to say that that coating is going to stay hydrophobic for 5 years. What happens is you get like water, mineral deposits on top of the coating. You know, you get films of detergent on top of the coatings. You get road film on top of the coatings, and the coating ends up getting buried under all this fine stuff. And some of that will wash off, obviously, and that brings back some hydrophobicity. But how do I know this? Because when I've put coatings on test panels and I've put like a high spot in the corner or next to a tape line, because you can't buff right down that little bit next to the tape, you strip the tape off and you've got like a murky bit, I can still see the murky kind of line of the product even after it's lost its hydrophobicity. So a lot of times people think coatings have failed, but they haven't. They're just buried. And there's all these kind of products for rejuvenating coatings, like, you know, what's it, the Lab Cosmetica Purifica acidic shampoo. You know, it's meant to bring the coating back. But you've also got like Geon water spot removers to break down all the mineral deposits. But you could also decontaminate fallout remover in case you've got like fallout blocking it. So it's like your paintwork gets contaminated. And what we all want is for the paintwork to feel lovely and smooth and look glossy and maintain its beading and all that sort of stuff. So I think the key thing, if you want to do that and keep your coating going, is to wash the car regularly. You know, if you left it outside under a tree for 2 years, it's going to, you know, you get the idea. Wash it regularly and, you know, put stuff on it that is going to kind of sit on top of the coating and protect it a little bit from getting buried, which you could argue, well, the coating should be doing all the work, but life, you know, they're not miracle products. They're better than kind of waxes, aren't they? They're harder, you know, they're more durable and all that sort of stuff. They're better self-cleaning. But they're not miracle products. You still got to clean the car properly and maintain the coating. And I used to think that was like a get out of jail free car, but it really isn't. You know, you'll get better value out of it by looking after your car still afterwards. And it's nothing complicated. It's just washing it regularly, perhaps topping it up with a bit of wet coat or ceramic detail or something like that. And if you didn't do that, you'd want to, because you feel like after you've washed your car, you want to put some kind of product on it, don't you, to dress it up a little bit. So there you go. So that's nearly half an hour. Who's still here? Who's listened to me for half an hour? Some of you got far too much time on your hands. It's just the man talking about car cleaning for half an hour. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll try and roll out more content on the Unplugged channel as well. There's a lot in the pipeline for the main channel at the moment, so it's going to be difficult, but I will keep getting informal content out on the backup channel. See you soon.